horse drifted alarmingly in the betting was, Felsted in the morning continued to drift. It was late on the exchanges to lose. It was something you'd see in a Dick Francis novel, Charles Buttons.
The ground is soft. It's
heavy.
It's soft on times.
It's heavy.
Okay.
Hello and a big warm welcome. Yes, it's the Barstew's Inquiry Sunday Sermon. A crackerjack of a show, as always, with me, John and Chris. Good afternoon, chaps.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone.
Before we get on with the show, I'd just like to discuss the forthcoming Xmas schedule, of course, because obviously I know people will want to know when pods will appear.
When you say Xmas there, are you not wanting to offend any obscure religious quarters?
Happy holidays, that's what you should say.
Happy holidays, everyone. Yeah, of course. Happy.
Our Branch Davidian audience won't like the Xmas thing.
Our listeners in Saudi and whatever.
or Waco won't like it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We might have a few sheikhs listening. So anyway, yeah.
So with the sheikhs, more like.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Anyway, coming back to the schedule. Friday, normal show, as normal for the Saturday's racing, I think, is Ascot, the long walk hurdle, etc. And then the Sunday show, normally it's the sermon, but will be replaced by the Xmas. Well, I've done it again, show, where we will be discussing Boxing Day racing, like a normal sort of preview show. Then on Wednesday, the 27th, we have the sermon, where this will be discussing the Botty Awards, which is obviously our nominated people for Bar Steward of the Year in different categories. So we'll be launching the Botties with that show.
Felicity Kendall used to win Botty of the Year, didn't
she? Yeah, she actually did, John. Very good there.
Yeah.
I know Richard Bryars, he had it right off, didn't he?
What? Threesome with Ed and Margot.
It's not a bad trio, that.
Yeah.
It's just Jerry. I mean, old Jerry just got sent to work, didn't he? And
he did, poor bastard.
He didn't have a shag in him anyway, did he?
I like Jerry, though. He was all right. Yeah. I like Margot. I preferred her to Felicity Kendall.
You'd never have backed Jerry to go on and become Prime Minister, though, would you?
Margot was a long boots type of lady, wasn't
yes,
she?
She was.
Yeah.
I remember the one where they give her paper hats. Made out of newspaper, and she said it's the Daily Mirror. I want a Telegraph one.
Was Margot played by Penelope Keith?
Certainly was, yes.
What days they were. Great TV. So anyway, carrying on. Yeah, so there's the Wednesday sermon, which will discuss the Botties. The Friday show as normal. That will be on the 29th. And then launched on New Year's Eve, its very self, is the Botties Awards ceremony. The hootenanny of the Bar Stewards Award. So plenty to look forward to over the Christmas period, and we'll put this on Twitter in print if you didn't understand a word of what we've just been saying. Right, on to the review of yesterday, which was obviously fantastic racing if you hate pumpkin, and brilliant if you love Carl Hinchy, because what stirred Twitter a little bit was obviously the comments from yesteryear. It was the 2nd of May 2022. And Carl Hinchy did a tweet and he said, interesting to see Henrietta Knight's view of UK trainers being given some harsh reality with the transfer of Gallyhill from Hendo to Elliott, of which, quite surprisingly, and it's timed at 17:19, so he wasn't pissed, probably. And he said, this is Paul Nicholls, OBE, the pumpkin. One thing for sure, no good trainer in the UK would train for a 4-letter word like you. What did we get in the big Gold Cup on Saturday? We had a fabulous finish between a brilliantly ridden Il Ridotto from Bryony Foss. She gave that an absolute belter of a ride. But it saved us the guffaw and the plaudits for Bryony and, all that afterwards on ITV, John.
To be fair, she's never ridden a better race than that.
She was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But how fantastic it was that got the bob, though. As soon as it did, I was going through the Twitter banks for that photo, for that tweet, because I just felt they're both in the parade ring. Megan's not dancing, John.
I'm a bit nonplussed at all this, because I don't really get the hostility towards it. I mean, all right, I'm indifferent to him, yeah?
Yeah.
There's people out there that seem to genuinely have the spike in old pumpkin, and I don't get it.
Do you know why I think? I think sometimes he comes across a bit frosty. He does. I like to pundits that are asking questions. Remember him, John, at Cheltenham when he withdrew runners because of the ground. Or
yeah. I mean, I get all that, but I mean, I think I'll come across a bit frosty. So
I know what you're saying.
We're all big lads. We should be able to take it. You know, I mean,
Don't you think it's the fact that Nichols can afford to say to Carl Hinchy, "I wouldn't train for you." In other words, and a lot of traders would give the little fingers to have Carl Hinchy send them
yeah.
four
I mean,
horses. You know,
I don't know. I mean, I just think it's a bit refreshing to have a trainer that says what he fucking thinks. You know, I mean, there might have been 30 trainers looking at that tweet thinking, you know, but they don't actually go and say anything.
you're right. You're right on that. I love it when someone wears their heart on
You know,
the sleeve.
he stepped up and he said, fuck you.
Yeah. Even though he's out of order, because obviously Hinchy was referring to Henry and I.
Entirely.
He was wrong. But there we go. I was glad Hinchy had his day. The Gold Cup was on parade in every boozer in Cheltenham that night, which, how do we see that, chaps, as optics? I love that, because normally it's some old fart that wins the big race and it just goes on his mantelpiece while he falls to sleep in his armchair at night supping a sherry. But this Gold Cup managed to find its way around every local in Cheltenham that night with videos and pics posters. You could see the aristocracy here cringing, can't you, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. No, it was nice. I mean, I dare say Carl Hinchy isn't worrying about how to pay his electric bill, but
No.
he isn't part of the, what's the word, the kind
club.
of elite of national hunt racing, although doubtless he's a very wealthy and successful chap. But it was nice to see someone else, you know, reveling in success. So yeah, it was good.
Absolute joy, isn't it, to see him really tying one on after it, you know, and probably had a good bet as well, you know. Fuck this, let's get on with it.
Growing up, in my estimations, I wasn't sure a while ago, but I like the little man to beat the big man. I think that's why I brought the tweet up, John. Not necessarily because like we're all
that
against
you're spiteful, nasty bastard.
Yeah, like
no, I mean, it wasn't necessarily about you bringing the tweet up. I mean, it was some of the comments underneath, you know, like fuck you, without,
yeah. I know, yeah. I sort of get what you're saying.
I might have more of an opinion on him if he trained on the flat. I don't know, but I'm completely indifferent to him, really. You know, I mean, he turns out and said he could say what he likes, you know. I mean, Megan dancing the other way, you know. Well, they had a winner, you know. She's proud of her old fella. I don't think she's a bad egg, you know. I mean, it's not her fault her dad's a trainer. You know, I mean, she could have been born in Bangladesh, for fuck's sake, couldn't she? You know, I mean, that is an accident of birth.
Well, let's be
fair.
She
make the most of her opportunities, and I don't think she's a bad egg.
I mean, her dad's a top shagger, isn't it?
So maybe he has got a daughter in Bangladesh. You just don't know, do you?
Well, he's got them all over the place.
Well, unless he hasn't made Chris, I think he's probably about 75.
Anyway, it's all good fun and sport. And Fugitive, John.
Yeah.
You know, it was. I thought it was
back in running.
Yeah,
get Chris Pearl back.
Yes, get the trumpets out. Da, da, da. I mean, everyone thought that potentially Bryony might have kicked too soon. Personally, the way the horse kept on, I don't think she did. I just think she was beaten by a...
She got a fucking belter, didn't she?
Absolutely, 100%.
I was 1,000% that the gun toe mad-headed on front end. I backed Yoshi to in run. I thought this is getting the perfect sit here. You know, he's just going to come through. And then going to the last, I thought he's going to win toe length. And it just shows what Il Ridotto found digging deep up the hill and what she'd kept in reserve. Hats off to her. Brilliant ride.
Analysing Frost over the year, she's definitely better on those front running types, isn't she? Gets them out, gets them into a rhythm, gets them jumping. Well, look at Frodon, for example. That was a similar sort of effort to like a Frodon ride where she was very unlucky to get bobbed. I mean, that's racing. That's how it is. But I know some people think that, oh, well, she kicked too soon. No, I'm not having that. I just think she was just beaten by a better horse on the day. A stride before she's in front. So that's just how it is.
You won't say a better effort over at Sticks, are you?
There's been some listener comments regarding the camera work. Neil Tolson has mentioned this about the... we didn't see the Sir Scottish fall because of the camera focus that obviously they've got like lots of camera angles now, a car going around the inside, so you get to see them close up. You've got the drone angle, there's lots of different angles. And apparently if you watched ITV, you were fine. You got to sort of see the Sir Scottish departure. If you're watching it on racing TV like I was, you didn't. So it depends which angles they're all using. But I'll be honest, John, I've never been a fan of the car cam.
No, I can't really get a handle on how quick they're going or much of anything, really. I just don't like it. I think you're so tight on them. I mean, I watch a lot of old races and that, and YouTube and that, like old Gold Cups and things like that. And I mean, they were nearly all shot from a bloody camera in the stands, even when they were out in the country.
Yeah.
The difference is amazing. But you saw more or less the whole field the whole way around. There has to be a happy medium in between what we got then and like what we get now, where I think they're obsessed with getting an award for camera work or something, because I mean, half the time you can say up a jockey's schnozzle, can't you? When they're turning in and what have you. I mean,
well, they've had jockey helmet cams, haven't they? And
yeah. It's so tight. You
it's in the pants though. The helmet. That's where it is. That's the problem. Can't see fuck all. Maybe it's just my telly.
Going back,
unless it's Robbie Dunn, like you get a good view then, like so.
He's whirling it round in the
yeah, exactly.
Drop the towel, didn't he?
That's the helmet cam,
yeah. 7 on the slack. No one drops the towel if it's small.
No, that's the first rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never ever drop the towel.
The kids at school, it was the ones that sat in the corner, had the Pee Wee Herman, and the lads that were like doing
baby's arm holding an apple,
doing the back with the towel, from side to side. It hung down like.
Yeah, and that was just the games master, wasn't it? Kids were fucking locking themselves in the shower.
Yeah.
Happy days, yeah. I love that job. Yeah.
School in the 70s and 80s. It was great. It was great.
10 minutes in, we're in the chair of the abuse.
Yeah, exactly. We hadn't even got through the review.
Carry on.
No. So anyway, we deplore close camera angles. I agree with John. Going on to Broadway Boy, John, in the novices, well, not the novices handicap, is it? He is a sort of a novice, but he was pitched in against the big boys. Went off a surprisingly short price, I thought, after our comments on the Friday show. We said about Broadway Boy having a very hard race last time, and he did the business, but he didn't jump well.
He's clearly got some engine, hasn't he? At 5-year-old and all. I just worry about him a little. He could be one of them where you're saying, he's got it 6, couldn't he? I don't know.
Well, it's Betfair Chase next year, don't
you? Yeah, which doesn't suit everything, does it? 3 under throw 5 is probably a reasonable marker. Probably runs just about what he's rating, I would have thought. Yeah, I mean, he's arse on the up, isn't he? But he's one of them. He maybe just does enough, but I always get the impression he wants taking on next time. A bit of a conundrum wrapped up in the puzzle.
People are saying National Hunt Chase. I've got a feeling that Twister might even go Brown Advisory. I just think Twister, I think I don't know, he kind of overrates a lot of horses. He was beaming after the race when, let's be fair, if Melina Girl of Gavin Cromwell's had stood up, she might have belted him by about 6 or 7. And then we're not even talking about it.
Every time Twister talks one up now, I just chuck in with all being caught. And think we should hook up.
That was the apple of his eye. That was his next Gold Cup winner. And obviously that was very disappointing.
What a boat. I mean,
Yeah.
So Protector ran well yesterday.
Yeah, he did. I mean, big weight. He came back, there's
National Trail?
I'd go there. I don't think he's got the class to win Gold Cups.
No.
So that's where I'd go with him. Very easy.
I wouldn't run him till then, no. I'd say, right, that's it. We're going to Liverpool. Bollocks.
Can't quite agree with that. But as I said, Melina Girl would have beat Broadway Boy easy if she'd have stood up. So it's that
going well.
You've got to look how she flew up the hill over 3 mile, 3.5, where she nearly broke the boards crossing the line. And she's going that well under the next second coming National Hunt jockey, Connor Stone Walsh, that I think she would have done the business. Bonte was probably an unlucky loser in the mares race, John.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All right, though. Not injured or anything.
Now, she was in pole position. She was going to improve for the step up in trip. Nurse Susan won the race, but was all out. It wouldn't have been a case of Bonte not finding from there. It was whether she'd get over the obstacles and just basically stick her neck out to the line. But I'd have fancied Bonte to win. I think you're unlucky if you back Bonte in that. Overall, it was unlucky for the bar stewards on the pod because we had a lot of fallers this weekend. You had one today, which I think would have won. Melina Girl I had, which I think would have won. We had one at Doncaster that might have gone okay, of Toby Laws in the 205, Mr. Who.
All these jumps fans, though, will be sat there now, they listening to this, said, they're there to be jumped, though.
Right. We've talked about this before, right? And even you said you love a pun, you love a bet. In fact, you told me there's like three things in life you love, right?
Yes.
Good sex, a bet, and a good dinner.
Yeah, preferably at the same time. I find it's the most appealing combo. But yes. Not necessarily in that order, but yeah, they're the three things I think most
Why spoil a good dinner?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Like golf, why spoil a good walk? Yeah. No, I think that's pretty true for most people, most normal people anyway.
Right, so the point I'm getting at is that you also stated if you get like info given you or you fancy one, you prefer them to be in hurdle races rather than chasers, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And I don't, and there's no kind of logical reason for that. I mean, I'm not sure that I have more fallers over the bigger obstacles, but I just intrinsically prefer less of a risk. Hurdle racing to my kind of path.
I think your reasoning's based in absolute sound common sense there, Chris.
I just think, if it's smaller, you're less likely to fall over. But I mean,
by the time they get over the big black ones, for starters, I think 8 out of 10 of them are as sour as fuck.
Yeah. I think that's right, isn't it? I mean,
you've got
that's
more
what
imponderables. I mean, you look at a chase for like any exposed horses set against a hurdle. You've got far more contenders in the race with cheek pieces, riser, blinkers, mutton chops, special bits, all the rest of it. Because they're absolute bastards. They don't want to be there.
And time again, you got something that was like meant to have loads in hand. It's cruising, but you've always got your heart in your mouth, haven't you? 3 out with lobbing. You think because it only takes one to clip one, and you're on the floor, and you think, "Fuck it." Look at that, so Scottish yesterday. It's just, it's that huge imponderable, isn't it? The bigger obstacles.
Is that it? Though? Do National Hunt fans are they adrenaline seekers rather than proper punters? And what I'm trying to say is that, like you say, when you build randomness into the game. I always say it's very difficult to find the fastest horse across a field, right? So why would you put obstacles in the way to make the job harder to find the fastest horse? And so it's a different discipline, of course. It's not necessarily the fastest horse, it's what jumps best, which it's a different angle to look at. But then that's gambling because you might know what the fastest horse is. If it hits 3 hurdles on the run to the line, it's going to get beat.
It gives the inferior horse a chance of closing the gap. That's the problem, doesn't it? That's the issue. Yeah, you're right. You can find, you've got to find the fastest horse, but those obstacles can, narrow the gap considerably, can't they? And that's always disappointing, I think.
Shit, really, isn't it?
I love John's assessment. It's shit, really. Yeah. This is why John goes into semi-hibernation until March. When March comes, he gets excited. It's not for Cheltenham. It's nights are getting brighter. And he just knows there's only a few weeks.
I just know, when Cheltenham comes in, I'm only going to wait to wait. That week will pass fast because they're racing on telly.
He does. He does. As a good mate of mine, he perks up no end. His mood just changes. A good question here from Trainer Geese, and this is one for me and John. He goes, there was a spirited disagreement this week on the Betfair podcast with DC. Who would DC be, John?
Doc Cotton.
with Doc Cotton saying he never looks at trainer form. And
David Cameron.
And Messrs.
Don Corleone.
And Messrs. Barber and Calvin informing him it's essential to look at. Barber and Calvin are in favour of trainer form, Doc Cotton and Don Corleone not. So which side of the debate would you lean on and how big a part does it play? That's from Trainer Geezer. Well, it's interesting. Right, I've had lots of theories on this that There are certain trainers, if you watch them closely, I've mentioned this on previous shows, that they will change feed. They'll go onto the low performance feeds to get the marks down.
The
Which-
supermarket petrol.
You can buy all sorts from the feed merchants to suit different types of horses. Obviously, some horses don't like certain feeds. And so trainers work that out. They put them on low dosage of high nutrients, and all of a sudden the performances drop, get the marks down, and then people say, oh, trainer's out of form, not trained a winner for 3 months. Next minute, 7-1 into 3-1, 10-1 into sixes, bang, bang. And I think that's a lot to do with trainer form in a way. Sometimes it can be viruses in the yard. You have to read into it. Is it trainer form, or is it just a trainer as well being cute on just basically getting the marks down just to make sure the horses can start winning and land some bets for the owners and keep everyone happy, John?
It's a funny thing, this. I mean, I would say I don't overly concern myself with trainer form if I'm back in what I consider to be a tip-top yard. If, on the other hand, my hand has been forced and I'm looking seriously at backing something from, say, the Charlie Hills yard,
Steady.
I don't know whether I'm looking for an excuse not to back it or what, but I will always go on the post site and say, I wonder what this fucker's been doing the last fortnight.
Yeah.
And how they're shaping and how far off hitting the marks are there. And well, as I said, your real tip-top people, your performers, your Godolphin, your Gosdens, so on and so forth, I tend not to worry too much about what the last 10 runs have done or whatever, you know. If it gets bad, I mean, Godolphin had a particularly bad spell not so long since. That was kind of colouring my judgment. But again, I don't think, if I've been really strong on one, I don't think it does stop me.
No, I tell you what does put me off with the bigger yards. If they've had quite a lot of fabs run really disappointing.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Have the fancied horses been turned over, or are you just getting a string of outsiders getting chinned? That wouldn't trouble me. But if you're getting loads of short ones getting beat, you think, hang on a minute.
They're not finishing the races.
I mean, you can have a week where, you know, there's no big meetings on and everything that's come out the yards from third lot.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
Next topic. Tony Martin, third failed dope test on horses that have won in 4 years, and he's only been handed a 6-month suspended sentence. Discuss.
So now we know the sweet spot, don't we, as regards how big a name you need to be before you get your ass booted out of it. Tony Martin's the median, isn't he, now with this?
Yeah.
Because this is where we're at. I think if you're a little bit below Tony Martin and you've done similar, you're off. If you're above him, you maybe wouldn't have even got a suspended. You'd have got a, you know, stern warning or something.
Collar field that doesn't make the public domain.
Yeah. I think we should call him Tony Median now.
Yeah.
That's the median rating. It's a problem, and it's obviously a problem for the sports rulers because obviously they aren't doing enough in terms of testing horses. We know this, and this is why we're getting cases like this, and it will keep on happening, and that's the game. Is it right? No, it's not, and that's why we highlight it. It's an outrageous kind of sentence when if a jockey takes a line of cocaine, he's immediately stood down and probably faces a 6-month ban or something, you know.
Yes.
And what's the difference? A trainer sticks drugs in a horse to make it win, and he gets a suspended sentence. It makes no sense. There we go. That's where we are. Going on to Amo Racing, they released another bombshell this week, which yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, this is bizarre. I didn't expect this because honestly, the informants I've had on this have been pretty accurate throughout this, and apparently they were really wanting SDS to take over next year. Yeah, well, because the thing is, the Brazilians love him, and he's Mr. Front Runner. To be honest, you know, I'm not saying he's the best. I'm just saying, but that was the sort of muted,
better fit, as they say.
Appointment.
He was the best placed Brazilian once Pele died,
Since
wasn't he?
Pamela Anderson saved her muff. Yeah.
Pamela Anderson, Jesus. Going on to the appointment, which is, of course, Ginger Ninja, David Egan. I find this quite bizarre, and there's a reason why. I don't think he's as good a jockey as the jockey they sacked in Ross O'Ryan. The stats prove that. Ross O'Ryan, unbelievably, has rode 68 winners more than he should have over his career, whereas Dave Egan has rode 28 less than he should have. And David Egan's 11% with a big stable like Roger Vegetables backing him. And you've got Ross O'Ryan that's not had, apart from Amo's job, he's not had like a big backer. He's just a freelance, achieving much better results. It doesn't add up.
Maybe Roger Vegetables has been holding Egan back.
Well,
do we know how many winners should he have had in his career that he hasn't?
Roger Vegetables is currently at Sandy Lane with the lads.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So I don't think he's
explains a lot, actually.
he's had the freebie off the lads for trading him one handicap winner.
Yeah. Very nice. Caddying for him as he a bag of Vance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Playing in the balls.
Yeah. Roger, the beer cart hasn't been round for a bit. Can you go to the bar?
Sorry, no,
Yeah.
Fucking run up
over
there.
to the clubhouse, Rog.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
He's
He's coming back with a cheeseburger and 4 Moretti's, you know.
Lovely.
I've suggested to my mole in the yard that they get Ross O'Ryan in at the variables yard for next year.
He will not do that, though, will he? Because he's one of these never take a backward step merchants.
No.
So we stuck with Egan until when? Guineas meeting, Derby meeting?
Well, the bizarre thing was the 2-year contract. I mean, if he sees the 2 years, I mean, I'll bet anyone now. I mean, can we have an even bet that he doesn't see it out? No one's taking me on at that, are they? No one. No.
It's like football managers, you know, they sign on, got a 5-year contract, and they're gone 3 fucking months later, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
2 years is bizarre. You just give him a year.
Yeah.
He'd have done it for a year anyway. He was an idiot.
There's more chance of Zach Dingle appearing in the Emmerdale Christmas special.
Oh, poor old Zach. Yeah, the mainstay. Forget his surname.
The
But
patriarch of the Dangle family, isn't he?
yeah, Steve somebody or other played him. But poor Zach Dingle got left us this week. Anyway, our next subject, the 4 runners per trainer. The BHA have been at it again. They love the game, the BHA. They just sit there in the office. And you can just see them, can't they, with a whiteboard. And someone's drawing in crayon. And they're probably playing noughts and crosses.
This day and age.
Well, Julie Harrington's outstanding, though, isn't she? I mean,
It's just a suggestion board.
Greg Swift's drawing a like noughts and crosses board and saying, "Come on, Julie, I've got you this time." It's like a spitting image sketch, isn't it? What ideas have we got? What can we do to make the game better? Right, I know what we're going to do. We're sick of big trainers running the show. Let's have 4 runners per trainer maximum in these big races. Of course, after Gordon had 14 out of the 20 runners in the Troy Town. But unfortunately for the BHA and their ideas network is that there's nothing to stop, say, Gigginstown. Say if they had 10 Grand National runners in the handicap. Obviously, Mr. Ryanair wants to win it and win the lolly. What's to stop Mr. Ryanair working it out and saying, right, you bring this into 4. I'm going to go to Gordon, Willie, and stick 2 of the no-opers with Dracula.
This idea, right? It's like they're sitting down to play cards with O'Leary.
Yeah.
They've brought a snap pack, and O'Leary's doing them fancy shuffles and that, you know. The BHA like looking at each other thinking...
Yeah, you can see like Julie shuffling cards and then chucks them all over the floor. And it's like, oh, fucking hell, I can't shuffle. And then old O'Leary's doing the old, like you say...
Yeah.
and dealing at 78 mile an hour. It is that. And this is the problem. The BHA have thought the think tank behind that and the ideas they've come up with in the past with a whip and stuff like that, the sauna for jockeys, which is scandalous. It's a basic humour. I mean, that was unbelievable the other week. Jockeys at Lingfield were going in the Lingfield Hotel sauna and walking with a towel round the waist back to the weighing room past punters.
Jesus.
Because the BHA won't allow saunas for jockeys. They're absolutely, honestly, fucking, anyway. So again, and that's why we're laughing. Another fantastic idea from the BHA that, of course, as soon as they bring it in, if they do, which is every chance because they're idiots, right? The owners they'll find ways around it. That's what happens. That's what you bring a rule in. Everyone then goes, right, we'll do this then.
You could save a lot of money, really, if we took them all out and brought in the Moomins or something, couldn't we?
Moomins are good. Yeah. Richard Murdoch used to do the narration of the Moomins.
Yeah.
Remember that? Do you remember the Moomins?
I do remember Moomins. I don't know who
Fucking
narrated
brilliant.
it.
Yeah, and Richard Murdoch is quite good. I used to like the Moomins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I know, we've digressed so much.
Yeah, just digressing.
So anyway, to the BHA, terrible there again, more rubbish. You could call it cheerier news, but kind of not cheerier news for poor old Butterbean. And Lord Worcestershire's been on, and he said, who's got Butterbean 16,000? Can we have a book on it? And to explain this story, poor Tony Calvin has woke up one morning, looked at his betting account with a bookmaker online that he's not named yet. He stated that 16,000 was missing, and this account had apparently placed dog bets and a few of them bet and withdrawn the rest. But then he doesn't say whether it's withdrawn to, because we haven't got enough information yet, have we? How on earth can someone withdraw his winnings? It's got to go back to his bank card, hasn't it, or his bank?
I think you can sort of say. I mean, I don't know the fact. I think you can say, contact them and say, sorry, my card has been cancelled or lost. Here's my new card. But surely it would have to be in the same name, wouldn't it? You couldn't make a third-party withdrawal.
No.
I can't see how that would happen.
Another question is, I mean, I know we affordability checks and everything, but to have 16,000 in an online bookmaker's account seems, I don't know, a bit OTT.
Fortunate.
Well, OTT.
I don't know, because if you're on about, I mean, you'll say something, you'll try not to withdraw.
Yeah.
That's just when you're shagging.
No, but if there's a conscious effort there not to withdraw, this sort of something build up, and
it is troubling, though, isn't it? It is troubling.
It's very worrying. I mean, this should not happen. Full stop. No. I mean, there's enough checks on your bank when you deposit. I mean, our deposits are when happen, and it needs my fingerprint as well. It's
weird.
Yeah, it leaves a very unpleasant taste, and I think the treatment is received after making the initial inquiry, like, where's my fucking money, sort of thing. I think that's irrespective of who the firm is. I think it's absolutely fucking disgusting.
Call the fucking police. I mean, they're not going to be interested, but you can get a crime number.
That was his closing remark, wasn't it?
Right, okay.
Call the police. And I think he's right.
He's right. I mean, get a crime number and go back to him. So, right, I put this as
send the fucking roses round to them if you're not getting any change out of them. Because, I mean, to just, treat it with contempt is very worrying for any punters, I mean.
No, I agree.
The irony of this is quite marked, isn't it? This is a fellow that said a while ago that he was in favour. Well, he was not against affordability checks. He was happy to have his data analysed. I'd like to ask Tony now: are you as happy now, Tony? You had 16,000 nicked out of your betting account. Are you happy now to give these fools your bank statements, your identity? Are we saying long term, if fraudsters can get into your account?
They've already got that, though, haven't they? Irrespective of what you're coughing up for an affordability check, they've already got enough to do you serious damage.
Or rather, he wasn't opposed to it. Kind of was based on the suggestion that the people handling this data and managing it were responsible, well-regulated entities. And our point was,
up until last night, he probably thought they were.
Yeah, exactly. And the point is, it kind of bears out the point we've made, is that how can you allow, commercial organisations of varying types to handle this sensitive data? That's what happens when you get people that aren't professional.
To me, I think this raises a point about the function of the Gambling Commission.
Yeah.
Because we're having this big gambling review and all the rest of it. While they talk about protecting vulnerable people, there's absolutely nothing getting discussed about ensuring punters get a fair deal. Now, if a Gambling Commission's remit doesn't cover something like that, I would suggest, what is the point of a Gambling Commission? If you had a Gambling Commission in Las Vegas and casinos were ripping people left, right and centre, the Gambling Commission would be all over it.
Absolutely, and rightly so.
Yeah,
rightly so. But you've got a fella there who's...
If Tony Calvin contacted the Gambling Commission about this, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking to us for?
Yeah, they
And that
would.
shouldn't be the case.
Where's his protection? Is £16,000 of his money has gone where?
Yeah, basically, he's
Where's
cast
he
his
been
drift.
protected?
So I totally agree with this. But as I said, when he made his stance, right, there's a lot of people now like sort of gloating a little bit, if you like. That's how Twitter works, right? In the term that you once stood for like these checks. Why did you stand for these checks, Tony? You work for Flutter, a big organisation, right? The reason he probably even can't name the firm in question is because there's probably some of these contract. I don't know. He can't mention any other firms on his Twitter. Who knows? This aside, how naive do you have to be to have that take? There's stories going off all over Twitter about people having their accounts took, people having to provide data, and Tony just then chimes up with a take of takes. Well, I'm all right with it. I've nothing to hide. What a load of shit. It's the biggest.
Well, it's the same. It's this racing post mentality. As long as it doesn't affect me, it's all good.
It's all good. Now it does. Now,
what a load of fucking cheating fuckers.
Yeah, well, that's my question to him. I'll say, so are you happy now to provide your data to the very same people that have allowed your 16,000 to
disappear?
Boop, with no answer?
Exactly.
Have you changed your view on it? So that's my question for Wade in on his next podcast, Tony, if you do listen or get told it. I'd like to know your answer on that. You might have moved on and changed his mind, which would be great if he has changed his mind, because then he can come back into the real world. So coming back to affordability, yes, there's a few things I've got to mention on this week. Mark TT Mister has been on with a question. He said, what the fuck is going on with the white paper, and do you think it will be kicked down the road, i.e. more money for the grifters until the election? And will Labour bin it entirely, or will they be more draconian? What's your thoughts on this, chaps?
Well, it'd be nice if it was kicked down the road, wouldn't it? That's the thing. But I can't see Labour binning it. Can you, John? I mean, you're better acquainted with what the Labour Party's doing, but I can't see them canning this.
I don't think anybody's really well acquainted with what Labour might do.
It's probably a good point. Yeah.
You can pivot on a sixpence, can't he?
Like a London taxi, got a 3-point turn.
I do think there's every chance it could get kicked down the road, because it wouldn't surprise me if we were electing another Prime Minister in a couple of months.
Could be.
Yeah.
Or the Tory party might be electing another Prime Minister in a couple of months at any rate. Don't say that they'll actually rush to the ballot box, but I think there might be a ballot of members, because I think such is the disquiet with Mr. Sunak at the moment.
Yeah.
He was actually hiding in my old home village 2 nights ago.
Really?
Visiting a community centre in Newmask near Redcar. Astonishing stuff from
it is.
The Premier, shall we say. But I can't see anything going through this Parliament, to be honest now. It's still there, isn't it? And looming like a spectre at the feast.
The real thing with this is no one knows what they're doing, and it's quite funny to see. They'll hold meetings and committee meetings, and they'll talk about things, and the gambling harm groups will come up with another load of grifting shit to get
the snowball of dosh gets bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. Do you know what was funny? As soon as they announced that there was going to be a statutory levy, the ears that pricked up, it was like something like, you'll see like in a field, the hares know that the gypsies have just arrived with a load of lurchers.
Yeah, lamping dogs. Yeah.
The ears prick up. This is bloody hell. What's this?
Fucking hell.
We better move on.
I wish I could get on one of these commissions and that. I mean,
you can.
I can wring my hands and pretend to be concerned about people. I mean,
all you've got to say is that you've had a Damascene sort of conversion, that previously you were like mad gambling, you've seen the error of your ways. They'd fucking welcome you with open arms. They really would, because everyone loves a convert, don't they?
Well, you've noticed in politics and in the way of life, you've got to sit on one side of the fence, haven't you? You've got to be on
the know you can cross the floor quite easily these days, can't you? Because the policies are fucking same.
Yeah, you can do what you want. You can literally but you've got to sit on one side of the fence. You can't sit in the middle. Them that sit in the middle are just hopeless.
You see that other fucker the other day, that what's he called, the centrist dad's wet dream, Rory Stewart.
Oh yeah, that fucking idiot.
He said he could quite happily serve in a Keir Starmer government. And I mean, that tells you how far Labour's swung, because I mean, he voted for the bedroom tax, taking 30 a week off raspberries and all the fucking lot. Every cruel policy you can imagine.
Yeah.
He was voting for. And
Yeah.
he seems to think Starmer's Labour would be a lovely
It says
move.
as much about him, though. It's fucking, I don't know, the National Socialists came to power. He said, these are people I can work with.
Well,
So,
he's another one, isn't he? He went to Eton, so
yeah.
this country was there for him to rule, not for
Yes.
and opportunities never go asunder.
No, exactly. Yeah. So that's his mindset, isn't it? It's his playground, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Answer to Mark's question, I think he'll get kicked down the road. My prediction is they will end up making a bollocks of it because that's what every government does. It doesn't matter who's in, really. I want to point the government and DCMS into some recent research that I have seen, which was published on the 14th of December about German gambling.
Jawohl.
Yes. Can the market be saved?
Jawohl. This game is crooked. I've had my 16,000 back. You bastard.
Eben lieben, Stephen.
Quite, yes. Apologies to any Germans there. That's a crappy accent. But I'm half German, so I can do it. So I'm not culturally appropriating anything.
So the Germans have a lot stricter regime than the UK. So the UK really, this is a real life project, by the way. So the Germans are very draconian. They only allow...
No.
They are.
Who fucking knew that?
Actually,
the Germans
yes.
were draconian. Yeah.
Yes, they actually, yes.
They got a bit of a history of that, haven't they? The Germans.
And they only allow people to deposit €1,000 a month into betting. And of which, if they play slots, they're only allowed €1 a spin, and spins are slower, like 5 to 10 seconds. However, they are finding out the hard way in that the black market is severely on the rise. And this is research commissioned by Professor Gunther Schnabel.
Proper that, isn't it? I love that's a proper name.
Yeah.
Schnabel.
He's serious, isn't he?
University of Leipzig found players spent roughly 47% of their time on illegal websites and 53% on legal ones. They've tracked 1,380 illegal operators in Germany targeting German players, gamblers. Yet the German government, again, typical to our government and everyone else, says it isn't a problem. They quote 2 to 3%.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah. It's all the same, aren't they?
This article should be a lesson to UK Gov. And where do you think this is going to go? Right? Put it this way. I'll ask a question to both of you. Let's say the limits come in where they say, right, you can only put in X, Y, Z, and you can only bet so often. If a black market option comes up and you have the confidence to deposit money because you've heard they're all right, are you going to go to that black market option to get your fix? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'd start small, wouldn't you? Small to see if you get paid, and then you slowly kind of ramp it up. Yeah, that's how you do it.
And forums will tell you anyway, because they'll say, "Oh, I've been ripped off by these. Don't go here." And you'll finally settle with one firm that's based in Costa Rica or whatever, Cayman Islands, and will do the job. I'm afraid the British government, whoever's in at the time, whether it's Tory party, whether it's Labour, are going to lose out on serious taxation. That's also going to cost the horse racing industry millions and millions in funding. Because, do you know what I said on the other show? We need visionaries here. We need to predict things. We don't need people to look at stats on what's happened. We need people to predict what is going to happen. That's the idea of a good board member or a good CEO, to actually look at this and say, well, if we implement this...
We're fucked then, aren't we?
Yeah.
But that's the point. That's what we've said. We need leaders, not administrators. Administrators are very important in any organisation. You can't have an organisation full of visionaries and leaders. There's nothing to get done. But fundamentally, at the top, you kind of want someone that's horizon scanning, that's actually got a vision for the business or the company they're running. And that's what racing just doesn't have at the minute, does it? It just has administrators who react to...
Indeed. And until it changes, until the direction of travel changes with people that are employed within the sport, of course, Dido Harding going to the Jockey Club, like someone said, the real John Nolan, who we love, has stated, Michelle Mone to become treasurer at the Jockey Club to channel the money wherever she wants it to go. But there we go. Right, so this is what racing does. It shoots itself in the foot, as we said on last week's show. And, of course, the government can look to real-life examples, such as Germany, and think, this isn't really going the right way, is it? They have to base policy on what is happening in real life. And, yes, we want to not people commit suicide through gambling, but as we've already stated, these figures that have been given are severely overstated and have been since the start, because why wouldn't they? They need more money. Still on gambling, and this is a good point. This someone that's commented has the misfortune to hear an hour of talk sports. 3 or 4 adverts for betting companies all came with the obligatory safer gambling rhetoric. Yet an advert on the same channel for the lottery and one for scratch cards came with no similar message. Why the discrepancy? Exactly that. As I said, the government wants one thing to happen, because obviously the lottery and the scratch cards benefit causes. It's so entangled with feather nesting. That's why you gain discrepancies. I've always said regarding gambling advertising, Chris and John, that if you don't allow big firms to advertise, you then embrace the black market. Because if they're not advertising, you don't know they're there. Then you go elsewhere, because then you don't know they're actually there. Banning advertising is foolish in my eyes. John, thoughts on that?
Can't really add anything to that. I think that's pretty much bang on the money.
In world news, the Tot World Pool, well, not the Tot, our Tot shit, they seed their pools. Yeah, I mean, they're a disgrace. The Tot had a chance to rebrand, and all our Tot have ever done is seed the market. What they're doing is, just to explain that, if you don't know, let's say one's 10s on the Tot 1 minute to the off, and it's 6.4 on the machine, their algorithms will back it in and take and make sure that you don't get any value. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
Did you ever give the Tot a thought, though?
I don't anymore. I tried to when they first launched and thought, this could be like finally innovative. Maybe do like a Harry Finley at Lifford and go 5% takeout and stuff like that. But no, they've never done that.
But, I mean, it goes to Betfred. I mean, my last thought, and it's now run by slaphead off Benny Hill, I mean, I just don't, it never enters my head to consider what the Tot might be offering about anything.
I think the Tot peaked when they were doing the Scoop 6. That got the most interest in it off the public. Anyway, talking about the Whirlpool, they're thriving. They are talking of expansion to 100 races per year internationally. And just to give a take on how much they take, say at Shartin International Sunday, 170 million in one day. They turned over.
This is your man with the name that was talking about this, isn't it? What's he called? The Hong Kong fella. Superb name. Winfried Engelbrecht Brege.
I couldn't pronounce that in your intro. Winfried Engelbrecht Brege.
Yeah. Engelbrecht Brege.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a name and a half, isn't it? You know he's going to the top.
To be fair, Mike Oxlong has been on.
I thought it was a statement.
He has. He actually been on. He says, French trainer Miriam Bollock Badel is the best name ever.
It's not bad.
No, that is at the apex, isn't it? No, that is at the apex.
An additional category for botties.
Best names.
Best names.
Miriam Bollock Badel.
Outstanding.
You'd win it every year, though, wouldn't you? Once you establish you're the best name, that's it.
Yeah.
You win 5 on this.
Talking about the way races should go. Do you know what? With Japanese, Chinese, everyone like betting into everything. If you had a Whirlpool, you're going to get some ricks, aren't you? Because, I mean, you saw what happened when Deep Impact run at Longchamp. He went off at about 4-7, did he? On their
keep bretting it. Keep bretting. Keep bretting.
Yeah. Well, not poker machine. This was it. And I think
Equinox would be about 1-7 at Arc next year, wouldn't it?
And they've retired it.
Yeah.
Fannies, absolute fannies. But that's what they do, the fannies. I mean, they could have competed against Europe's best maybe next year and thought, fuck it, we'll have 1 year and made it into this super world sire. But all they've done is just...
Somebody sent them a city of choice, AJ.
Fair. We're not taking that on. So the Whirlpool, I think this is the future for British racing. Look, I bet for a living. It's bad for me in terms of it would probably finish me if that's the only option of getting on. But listen, for racing and for thriving, you see how other countries are doing it. America, big prize money. You've got France, enormous prize money. Hong Kong, Japan, it's all thriving. The only one that isn't is the big corp stained industry. That is the UK. And I'm sorry, if you want racing to thrive, you're going to have a better model than the BHA are taking us down, which isn't going to work because it keeps failing all the time and getting lower and lower, which is why we're losing our nice horses, which will continue to do so next year. Let's get into a bit of fun to finish the show. 3 lovely things here coming up. That was the workiest sport to bet on, Dupont Tom.
The what?
I think he means wonkiest, right?
Oh, wonkiest.
Yeah, as in bent. I saw the bentest cricket game I've personally seen last night. West Indies against England. The West Indies players for me have been betting. It was horrendous. As a former decent cricketer, I understand what you've got to do. And they were bowling half volleys outside off stump, full tosses to the hips, half volleys outside leg stump. England wanted a ridiculous amount of runs to win, and they got them. That, to me, there was no balls over the line. It was, to me, it was more obvious than Dale Winton. I would say cricket's probably one of the worst because the Asians love betting on it.
I think over the last 20 years, cricket and snooker have been pretty shocking.
Chris, what would you say?
Yeah, I think sort of challenger tour tennis matches involving like Belarusian teenagers tends to be, you know, when you get the ones where the geezer's like 2 sets to love up and 5-1 in the third set, and he's fucking 33-1 again. you know, the other geezer's 10 on, and you think, hang on a second, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, tennis, particularly the second tier of tennis, is notorious, isn't it? I mean, it's just shocking, but yeah.
There was a real high-profile case in that one, wasn't there? There was Davydenko.
Yeah, Nikolai Davydenko and Peter Korda as well, but before him was booted out of the sport. There's a lot of that kind of, stuff. It's normally kind of pros on the downward escalator trying to nick a few quid.
Yeah.
And they tend to come from former Eastern Bloc countries, funnily enough.
Ansi Cronje had to crash his plane into a mountain, though, didn't he? Because what he knew, he could have blown the cricket world apart, apparently. So, they hired a pilot to...
Yeah, exactly. It's the tin hat portion of the show. Yeah, Illuminati fucked him. Yeah,
yeah. The people incriminated in his sordid gambling.
He took Edinburgh, took him out in the Alma Tunnel.
True.
God, have you got good examples or something that has floated your boat?
Stephen Lee in the snooker, I mean, I tell you what I never get, this adulation John Higgins gets in the snooker after he got top banker rates, didn't he, for time off. And he's welcomed back with open arms. Everybody, whoa, John Higgins this, John Higgins that. Stephen Lee, old fucking fatso with the superb cue action, he can't get a look in.
And snooker, of course, like Silvino Francisco back in the day.
And his brother, Peter Francisco. Yeah.
So the troughs, the bookmakers, they had a snooker table there, and Silvino used to practice at the troughs and stuff. And so the Worlds were coming up, and he was playing somebody in first round, and he did all the shops. They were back in 10-1, 10-2, 10-3, the other bloke. Needless to say, he got beat 10-1.
Yeah, extraordinary.
Yeah, extraordinary prediction. Obviously, they got done. Well, yeah, they got rumble for that. I mean, I'd say it's got to be like snooker, darts, cricket for me. But I agree with Chris about tennis also. Tennis is... You wouldn't trust some football games either. Once the info gets out, the keeper's done 14,000 in gambling day before.
Well, what was that? They used to bet on how quick it was time to the first throw-in, didn't there? And they were boating it straight into touch from the
Premier League. Literally.
Right off on that.
Lots of spot fixes.
Yeah. And the US sports haven't been sort of immune, have they? There's been college basketball fixes, all kinds of stuff over the years.
Yeah, there's Netflix documentaries on that.
Brilliant. Yeah. That's a brilliant one, isn't it? How, sort of very talented. And they weren't fixing, were they? As you say, it was spot fixing. They weren't altering the outcome of the match. It was just certain portions of the match they were influencing.
The sooner the government stops us betting and we have to get a fucking ice cream van, the better for us, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, Christmas betting stories, chaps, before the final question of the day. Betting stories have floated your boat over the past. I'll give you a story that I had, and it was a 16-year-old. it was in 1987. I received around £90 in Christmas money from my family, which isn't bad, is it? 87.
That's good.
It's a good haul,
That's
that,
good.
isn't it?
Fucking lead that now.
Yeah,
Fuck me, that'd be good.
I'd got
wouldn't it?
20s and 10s, and
It's about 89 quid more than that I got off my fucking left.
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah. Me and all.
right. So I was sat there, and like before lunch, before dinner, and obviously Desert Orchid. I'm thinking it's just a wonder horse, isn't it? You know, like
Yeah.
I just love it, and I love me racing. I just love Desert Orchid. I don't want to have a bet, and I just suddenly got this adrenaline rush to have the lot on, so I did. So I went down to the coral shop, and at 16, you know, you get your fuzzy tash. And so they don't ask questions. You know, I've got
like one of your eyebrows has come down for a drink.
Yeah, I got like one of them fuzzy tashes at 16, so I could get in like betting shops and stuff. Because he's got a tash, he's all right.
Yeah.
No ID checks then. And so I had all the 90 quid Christmas money on Desert Orchid. Somebody called Andre Pommier was it, decided to win and piss all my chips on Uppsala. And I can remember watching it with my granddad, who loved his racing. Obviously, they didn't think I'd go down and have a bet. And my granddad's there with these betting slips looking at them. Oh, that's no good. Uppsala. No, I've got Desert Orchid in 3 trebles here. Oh, fucking hell. After the race, honestly, my face had gone that bright red. Because, you know, like when you get that horrible, like, blood pressure surge, you know? As if to say, I fucked all my Christmas money. So this is a true story. So my mum said to me that day, she said, "Oh, what are you buying with your Christmas money?" Right? Yeah. I got a wealthy mate. He got the tape CD player that cost about like 75 quid. He weren't bothered about it. I says, "Can I borrow that for 3 months?" So I borrowed it for 3 months, and I said that's what I bought, and I stuck it in my bedroom and like played some tunes on it and stuff and this, that, other. And I said to him, I said, "I'll give it you back in 3 months because my mother won't notice." After that, it's like, oh well, she just wants to know what I've bought. And that was it. So that was the deal. That's what I did. That was my happy Christmas, 1987, thanks to the dirty French. Why don't the French send more over these days anyway? For King George. They've had enough, haven't they? Yeah.
They've had the ache with it.
Any good Christmas stories from you two?
Can't top that, Lee, unless John's got one. That wins the prize, I think.
Boxing Day with Hitler, Lee, I think was quite... You're very much a part of this. You came up for the Sheffield Wednesday Burren-Hill match.
I did.
It was a good day from the get-go, really. Stocko had a bet on Ralph Jefferson's horse in the King George, and it got brought down.
Yeah, it was splendid.
He wasn't happy about, for starters, because I think you laid him the bet, hadn't you?
I did.
He never likes doing money to you, which was great. And then after 3/4 of the match, which we'd spent focusing on Tony Pulis' size 17 trainers.
5'6", and
yeah, the game was fizzling out, and there was a little bit of a tussle down on the touchline nearest to the side we were on. And the crowd kind of fell silent. The game was fizzling out, you know. And all you heard was the Ginger Hitler shouting, "Punch the cunt!"
Yeah.
That was like an afternoon of frustration coming out in 3 words from the maestro himself.
That would probably feel like the old "Are you a problem gambler?" isn't it? Because it's like you've had rage. It's caused you to have rage, and
he had serious rage that day, didn't he? He wasn't for talking to. I mean, he pretty much spoilt the curry afterwards, didn't he?
No, it was fabulous. It was a day to be able to see his face, you know, which absolutely was seething with rage. Right, to finish the show off, we're going to go with the Davis question. Now he says favourite cheese to go with the port over Christmas. Now, I want to ask you two.
Who has port?
I know. It's a southern thing. He's down with you though, so I don't fuck knows. I mean, whistling outside toilets, you know, like getting water from bowls,
exactly,
tap salt flowing.
Yeah, quite a gas oil lamp.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah.
So what I want to ask you, Chris and John, is what's your favourite things of a Christmas? I'm not on about the dinner. What do you look forward to every year?
Right. In terms of go on, John.
My absolute guilty pleasure at Christmas, right, is after the dinner, ideally when everybody's fucked off and I can just collapse into the Chesterfield and say, that's fucking it. A nice big wedge of Christmas cake, a nice big wedge of white Stilton,
Yeah.
a bunch of grapes, and this is where I differ from our friend Nick, because I prefer to park up for the afternoon. I like to save my legs, so I get myself a tumbler and I fill it half and half with really nice port and Remy Martin brandy, and that's me drink for the afternoon.
When you said you want to save your legs and get a tumbler, I thought it was pissing or something.
No. I just by the time 3/4 of the way down that, I just piss myself.
Yes, quite, yes.
So, Chris.
Well, I hate Christmas cake. I cannot stand it. It's that icy and all that horrible steeped fruit. So that's me gone. But White Stilton, I agree with 100%. I make Nigella's Christmas chutney about a month before Christmas. I've made that, and it's very nice. And tins and tins of quality streets and celebrations, which I'm sure appeal to you, Lee, because I like quality streets.
Do you
eat those success.
Do you have a toot while you're making Nigella's stuff?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking right. Yeah, you got to, haven't you? It was a difficult time in her life. We shouldn't, we shouldn't label her for that. Yeah. All that icy sugar, yeah.
I'm very, very partial to blue Stilton cheese, which I absolutely love. But Elizabeth Shaw mints are my absolute go-to.
Elizabeth Shaw, wasn't she the Black Dahlia that got murdered in the 40s? That was Elizabeth Shaw, wasn't it?
I don't know. Anyway.
It was, yeah. James Elroy wrote a book about it. Look it up, readers, honestly.
Right. They're like hexagon mints, and they're better than After Eights. They are the daddies of mints at Christmas for anyone that's not had them before. Anyway, we hope you've enjoyed the show.
Get some of them for Christmas.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Because After Eights are like toothpaste and mint.
Yeah, the
shit.
Don't you think? You eat them, and it's like, what's this? It's like Fry's creams are better than After Eights.
Yeah.
No,
our Fries.
And on that note, thanks for listening.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a fab show. We've enjoyed it. Right, we're back on Friday as usual. Then it's the Sunday Xmas Eve show, and on the Wednesday it's the sermon, followed by the normal Friday show and the sermon on Sunday. Very busy over Christmas because you have the time off, so we give you what you want. That's all from us. Bye for now.